Preston Guidry. He's an athletic kid who's working and competing and get better. So that's the biggest thing we're doing with those other ends. Mike Taylor is the other end that we've got, and he's got some pass rushing ability. So, you get all those ingredients together, and I think we can compete with those guys.
How much time did Preston miss because of his grandmother?
He missed a couple days. My heart goes out to him and his family, but he missed a couple days, and he was back with us yesterday practicing.
TJ right now would be the starter at the other end if you played today, Coach?
Yes, that's correct.
Who would be his top backup at this stage?
Right now, like I said, it's kind of an assortment of guys. Like I say, you got Jake Hall, you got Preston Guidry, John Marshall. I guess a lot of it depends on how the game is going and, what's the situation. But all of those guys are going to play with that second group and come in and spell guys.
Do they all bring kind of different things to the
table? Yeah,
table?
they all kind of bring different things to the table. Like I said, John's a real versatile guy. He can play outside and he can play inside for us. Jake Hall is a guy that you love because he's a high motor kid and he brings some different abilities than some of the other guys. But yes, they all have a unique quality about them.
How much does your depth and how many guys you want to rotate in differ by the opponent week to week?
It does. When you're seeing these spread, fast-paced teams, you got to roll bodies. If you want to be there in the end and keep those guys playing at a high level, I haven't seen a D lineman yet that could go 75, 80 full-speed reps. You know what I'm just saying. I haven't seen that yet. So you got to keep them fresh, and if you're able to do that, you see a lot of times that's the difference in getting a sack in the fourth quarter when you really need one than not getting one or giving up an explosive play. So.
You had Preston back. How's
he was back with us yesterday, and like I said, my heart goes out to him. It's never fun when you lose somebody you love. So my heart's heavy with him, but he's got his brothers here and his coaching staff is with him. But he's been okay. He's been pushing through it and persevering and practicing. So that's good to see.
How close was he to his grandmother?
He was very close. Almost just like his mom. Very very close to her. So it's tough.
Who's the nose guard that you were talking about again?
Damon Harrison. We call him AKA Snacks. Okay. And if you see him, you know why we call him Snacks. So that's the guy I'm referring to.
What's impressed you most about Bijan so far?
Bijan, we call him the dancing bear in our meeting room because he's a big kid that's has great feet and athleticism. And he has the potential to really do some big things for us, but we all know what potential you got to show it. But he's got some very high athletic qualities that we like at that position. Plus, he's heavy enough to anchor and not give up movement and those type of things.
You talked about changing his diet in the offseason. Was that something you worked with him on?
Yeah, it's something that we talked with him about. I talked to him. Coach Rhodes talked to him, just so he can get in prime playing shape. And he's working hard at that. I think that's a big part of his conditioning. That's a big part of allowing him to be able to play at the highest level he can play. It's this diet.
Coach, in recruiting, what kind of player are you looking for at defensive end? What kind of body type?
With as big as the offensive lines are in the SEC, obviously you want some guys with length. Have some long arms, and you look at bodies that are going to be able to get to the 300-pound level or right around that. The whole point with what we're doing. Some of the offensive lines you see in this league are just as big as some of the offensive lines you see in the NFL. The tackles 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", big guard. So. In an ideal situation, that's what you say. You kind of look for bodies that can grow like that.
You look at this offensive line, it's obviously very experienced. How does that help your guys in practice?
Tremendously. I mean, we go against those guys every day. When you have an opportunity to go against guys like Frank Ragnow and Fro and those guys, it only makes you better. And when you go over and compete with those guys and you understand what kind of block you're getting and the way they come off in practice, it is making us better.
Coach Rhodes and so both kind of mentioned that the offense is different than the offenses you guys will face in season. Does that kind of affect how you work in practice against the offensive line?
Not really, because at the end of the day, I believe it comes down to still being able to get off a block, being able to defeat a block, and playing with technique. So, it may vary a little bit the type of blocks that we're going to see with the spread offenses, but like I said, at the end of the day, it comes back down to the basic fundamentals of being able to get off a block, understand what you're getting, and in toughness. And that's the thing our offense gives us every day. You get toughness, and they're going to run the ball right at you. So I think we'll be okay in those regards.